All right, y'all. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Infinite Ambition Podcast. Recognize your limitless worth, damn it. Yes, sir. This is Khari Martino, your host, and this is episode 30. And today, man, I got two very special guests I'm on the line with today. I've been really excited to get this episode off, to record this episode. We've been collaborating a little bit and talking about it for a while, and now it's finally about to happen. I got two pillars of the community, two pillars of Gym City right here, my hometown, Dayton, Ohio. Man, two cornerstones of the community, not only in just what they've done for the community, but the hip hop scene, the funk scene, the music scene in general. First, I like to bring on the line Mr. DJ Cooley The Curator. This man right here.
What's up, man?
Yeah, yes, sir. What's up, man? You may have seen him at Barrel House. You may have seen him Funk Fridays. You may have seen him at the Church of Funk. You may have heard him on Homegrown Hip Hop. You may have seen him at the local Gym City Records, which may not be there right now or closing down soon, but we're going to talk about that. You may see him at Boom Bap in Belmont and a few other things that we were going to get into, man. Mr. Cooley. Man, this gentleman right here, I had the pleasure of meeting him a couple years ago, or last year, when I came home from my family reunion. We're going to get into that story too, man. He was spoken highly of by my man, the Gemini, or you may know him as Jerry and George, whatever. And also on the line, we got a Gym City legend right here. He's been around for God knows how long, putting out music, doing shows, mad mixtapes, EPs, albums, you name it. Your favorite rapper has heard of him. If he hasn't heard of him, he will hear about him really, really soon. Ask about any artist in Gym City or just a Dayton area, Ohio, spreading their wings. Ask about this man, Cap the Don. You will hear a lot of great things. I've heard a lot of great things about him. I was first introduced to him when I heard him on Homegrown Hip Hop. My man Gemini was interviewing him, and then I went and researched him, found his music video for West Side, and I was a fan immediately. So I went back and started listening to all his old shit up to his newest album, which he just dropped, and he's going to talk about that too. Mr. Cap the Don, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir. What's happening with the people?
Yes, sir. What's up, brother? How you feeling?
Man, feeling good, man. Feeling good, feeling great. How about you?
Man, I'm highly blessed right now. I'm really excited to have both of you on the line. This is the first time that I've actually had two people on the line at the same time. I mean, I've done episodes in the past where I spoke to multiple people at once, right, in the same room with me. So it's the first time I've been able to speak to a couple of people online. But it's just a privilege right now to have you two, out of all people, and back home in my hometown, Dayton, Ohio, man. It's just the level of excitement I'm feeling right now is really high. So I'm trying not to stutter too much because I've had a little bit of coffee. I'm excited, and we got so much to talk about in this short amount of time we got in this moment. So like I was saying before we went on the air, that this might have to be a part 2 and a part 3, because there's a lot of history between y'all, with me, what y'all have done and what's going on out there. But first I want to get into a little bit of backstory with you guys real quick. Start with you, Cap, man. I know you've been a Dayton native since you first touched down. When'd you get your start? What was your first musical influences before you even wrote your first rhyme? And what led up to that, writing your first rhyme and deciding you wanted to do that? Coming from Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, that's a good question. So of course, being an 80s baby.
Yes, sir.
Man, yeah, I loved all the music. Like, I would hear a lot of Prince. And then being from Dayton, of course, riding down Catalogue, you'll probably see, you ride past the Troutman Studios, and you'll see, sometimes I think Roger shoot a video, rest in peace to Roger Troutman.
Wow.
Shoot a video, and the city was going crazy. So, just music was a heavy part of our everyday life.
Yeah.
In the 80s as kids, coming home, you're going to see, there was nothing but music videos. You had Video Vibrations, Video Soul,
Donnie Simpson.
So much. As far as hip hop, when hip hop came in the scene, it was just such a rebellion to me, and I was always one of those. I'm pretty sure you guys know me. I'm one of those like rebellious type cats.
Yeah.
Hip hop was always like a middle finger to everything, like the little bad kid. I just was like, oh, they cussing, oh snap.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So that was like a heavy influence on me. But as far as what got me to start rapping, honestly, I wrote my first rap to Kwame's The Rhythm.
Okay. Word.
Yeah, and I wrote my first battle rap. It was funny. To the Fresh Prince Summertime. I
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
that's cool because that beat isn't even like an aggressive battle type hard beat. It's more of a feel good, relaxed vibe, especially from the samples they use. So you can write like a battle song to that beat. That speaks to your creativity in writing.
Well, I was trash back then, so it didn't that well for me. I don't know why we chose that song, but around that time when Summertime came out, you had the Fresh Prince, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And they would like show the video, like, I guess after the show or before they, aired the show.
Yeah. So
either way, we were super excited. So my brother was like, "You can't rap." My brother's like 7 years older than me.
Right.
And I'm like, I know I can't, but I'm competitive with my brother. So I'm like, I can rap better than you. And then
he'll be your biggest critic too.
From there.
At the time, yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. But the thing that really got me serious and focused was in 1994 when I heard Pete Rock and Feel Smooth, the Main Ingredient album.
Oh yeah, classic.
I love the Mecca and the Soul Brother. I love that because that came out around the same time DJ Quick album, and I remember that because we was at the record store, and my brother was about to buy the DJ Quick album. And I was like, let's get this Mecca and the Soul Brother because I love, what was the song they had? Troy, of course, Troy.
Yeah.
Troy is a classic.
And they reminisce over you, my God.
It was another song, Lots of Lovin', and was it, I forgot if it was Work It Out or, I forgot. Oh, man, I forgot what the song was called. But it was another joint they had. So they had like 3 joints that made me like, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
So when the Main Ingredient album came out, it just changed my life. So I just, so ever since then, since 1994, man, I've just been trying to be, what I am today.
You caught the bug, man. You felt that, and you was like, you know what? I can do that, or I can at least try and get better. Because you felt like, did you feel inspired to bring out something that was in you, like, okay, I got a lot I can say, or I can be creative with words and put together poems over a beat. Let me see if I can do what they do, but do it my own way. Is that something that was kind of on your mind at the time?
Of course, exactly. It was like, at that time, like, hip-hop had kind of changed. So you thinking of the 80s was really like, it was a plethora of different styles. You might have had conscious with, let's say, like, KRS-One. I mean, even with the message back in the day, but like, it was always kind of like message driven, and then it had parties. It was like party fun music, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wild Wild West, Fat Boys. But then around like, I want to say like 1990, hip hop kind of went into a weird stage. My wife's from Chicago, so they love like house music. Like it was kind of a lot of housey type rap, and I was like, this is weird. But it still was different styles. So then we got into the 92 era, I kind of felt like I could do that.
Right.
Because I'm 11 years old at the time, so I'm just looking like, well, I can't do this. My mama don't even like to listen to rap music. So I definitely can't do this. And I would be lying, When I heard the Pete Rock and Feel Smooth album, the Main Ingredient, I remember because I was playing for Rolf, and the next day we were supposed to play Trotwood. Shout out to Trotwood.
T-Wood.
And we was playing Trotwood School, and man, that whole album stayed in my head. And it was just everything, like Feel Smooth just sounded like me. Even though he was way older than me and all of that, but it just sounded like something that I could relate to, or something that's smooth as I wanted to be smooth like that.
Yeah. You saw a little bit of you in him and vice versa, and you kind of felt yeah, man, I can relate to that, man. It's like around that time, you see, there's a lot of different flavors and sounds starting to blend in or dabble in hip hop and vice versa, and a lot of sampling was super heavy. That's around the time where like sampling started to become a little commercial, because people who was getting sampled was starting to make a little bit of money from their samples. Because before it was like the Wild Wild West, rappers and DJs can just sample their ass off, and you didn't have to pay for it. There was no ramifications of it. You can just do it, whatever. But then the industry got involved. Then they started saying, okay, these artists that you're sampling from, they need to get their money from it. Or those artists started getting sued for it, so it started to become a little more commerce involved, a little more business involved. So it started to change the sound of hip hop, which the evolution started to take off more and more, even to this day, with like more big business involved and more commercialization and everything like that, and would be started to become more of an industry and less of just parties in the house stuff, it starts to change along with everything else does the same thing. And we're gonna get into that too. Mike, I wanted to ask you, Mike, when did you get in DJ? What got you started doing that, and was that your start? Was you doing something else in music before DJing? Because I understand you went to ICB. I know Jaren went there too. I don't know if y'all was there at the same time, but was that what you went to ICB for, or did you start doing something else first? What were the seeds that planted your career?
Yeah, by the time I got to ICB, I kind of I had already tried like a whole bunch of different stuff related to music. So the first thing DJing was the first thing as far as hip hop that I got into, though. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I just fell in love with hip hop like from day one. You know what I mean? From the first time I heard it, probably like I was like 5 or 6 years old, listening to it, dubbing songs off the radio.
We all did that.
And I've always just been kind of the type of person, like even since I was a kid, where if there's a subject that I liked, I wanted to learn everything about it possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So DJing kind of lends itself to that because of the digging part of it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just like listen. I can't just like listen to a song without wanting to know, okay, who played guitar on this, who played the drum.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Who's doing these scratches?
This
sound, I never heard this sound before. Where is this coming from? So, I always loved it, like the whole, like everything about hip hop, but I can't draw really, so I couldn't do graffiti. I can like nod my head to a rhythm, you know what I mean? I can make a beat, but I can't do all that. I can't break, you know what I mean? So, so that was out of the question. And at the time, like, cause I'm like 6 years old at this time, like when I'm first hearing it and I'm first learning it and I'm first loving it. And, so from like, from that age until, whenever Eminem came out, basically.
I think it was 98, 99, somewhere around there.
The rapper you saw was Vanilla Ice, and that was whack. So I couldn't, in my mind, it was just like, okay, a white person can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, it just never even occurred to me to try to write a rap at that point. I was just like, like the only example we have is this guy, and I don't like him.
Third base, maybe? You hit Jeremy third base back then?
I don't want to play myself out, you know what I mean? So I was like, but I could DJ though, because I was like, I bet you I could. My mom had a big record collection growing up, so I would mess with her records, you know what I mean, on her turntable when she wasn't around. And I was like, I could do this, you know what I mean? Like, this is something this is how I can participate in this culture, you know what I mean? So, and then from there, once I got, it's like I'm kind of covering like a big space of time, but
it's all right, it's all good.
When I was like, I want to say maybe 15, I think is when I first got, or maybe 14, I first got like my own turntables and my own mixer. I'd saved up my own money for it. I had a job working at McDonald's at the time, and I saved up all my money to get the DJ set up. And then that, starting to mess with that got me into wanting to make beats.
Okay.
And then I had but also when I had before I'd even got a drum, I think I ended up getting my first drum machine when I was like 17.
Oh snap! Okay. I wanted one so bad back then.
But I had when I had my turntables was right around the time. Shortly after I got my turntables was right around the time that Nas's Light came out. And that instrumental, I bought that 12-inch. I bought a couple of those. And that instrumental, just like it forced a rap out of me. Like it was just like, I have to do this. You know what I mean? Like,
man, you're singing things that's bringing up stories in my mind right now. Man. Well,
and like another thing too is like, as far as like MCing, is that it kind of sounds like strange, but just to give you an idea of where my mind was at, like, back then, nobody from Ohio was doing anything, you know what I mean? Black, white, or whatever. So once I heard Bone Thugs, I was like, oh, wait a minute, you don't have to be from New York or LA or Miami to participate. And then
I thought the same thing.
This is back when like 94.5 The Beat was a hip hop station, and you started hearing guys like Force and Eclipse from Tune on the radio battling like well-known artists at the time. And I was just like, oh, you could be from Dayton and do this. And that's kind of what led me to write my first rap. Because I always wanted to rap. I just didn't think it was like a good idea, I guess.
Did you hear any MC Search and Third Base back then, or any of the Beastie Boys back then, like in the 90s and 80s?
I had heard that. The Beastie Boys I liked. I mean, I've always been a fan of the Beastie Boys. It just wasn't, well, I was more into like the super lyrical type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
and those more like the rock style of rap, like for a party,
Like the party music. I grew up in like a very like strict religious household.
Okay.
So I think the cerebral, like the funk, and like the for lack of a better term, I guess like spirituality type of stuff kind of appealed to me, even though it wasn't along the same lines of religion that I was raised in, but like just using that was the party stuff. I had never partied, you know what I mean? I didn't even take my first drink until I was 20 years old. So
right.
The Beastie Boys thing didn't really appeal to me, and I don't think I even knew they were white. You know what I mean? Like, because we couldn't watch. I wasn't allowed to watch music videos and stuff.
Yeah, and there was no internet back then. It was all music. It was only music videos and magazines, pictures. That's it.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like a lot of things both y'all said sparked a lot of memories and like a lot of stories of things that I could relate to and bring up. Like you was talking about your beginning stages. I was saying a lot of the same things. Like I didn't know those any hip hop artists that were either coming out of Ohio or starting to come out of Ohio until I was hearing things like Bone. Before then it was like all East Coast, West Coast, down south, and that was pretty much it. New York, California, Miami, like with Luke and them, and when No Limit started to pop, New Orleans and Cash Money later on. But even Houston, Texas, I got put on to them kind of late, like around junior or senior year in high school. My cousins and them friends was talking about them. I'm like, who's this slow, dumb sounding shit? He's like, nah, you got to really listen to what he's saying. Like I call him later, like, oh, okay, no, it's not slow and dumb. I thought it's this different. So like I was catching on that stuff late, but before, like it was all funk and pop and R&B with my mom and friends and them was listening to, and I was hearing stuff in my uncle's cars or my uncle's friends' cars. Like I was hearing NWA, and I was hearing Public Enemy and LL and all them. Like I heard LL Cool J when I was 6 years old. I was like, my first introduction to any rap was hearing like I'm Bad and that radio. I was like, what's this beats is hard? What is that? I'm loving it. Didn't even know why I was loving it. And yeah, man, I was 9 years old at a family reunion one time, and my uncle was DJing, and back then I was the shyest kid in the world. Back then I was super shy. I couldn't even talk to nobody. I was afraid I couldn't even come close to the dance floor, opposite of what I am now. But I'll walk up to the DJ booth. I'm like, hey, how are you doing that? How are you blending those records together? And he's like, oh, you want to see? Here, come here, I'll show you. And he was showing me how he was blending the records, and I'm like, oh, this is magic. And you're controlling the crowd. I want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to learn how to do this. So I was like, he put me back there. He said, here, you can try this. I started trying to blend, show me how to crossfade and mix and all that. I'm like, this is the funnest shit in the world. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this rest. So I did it for the rest of the night. Way before I even thought I wanted to try to rap or write a rhyme. And fast forward years down the line, I'm in the middle of high school, and me and some of my friends, we writing our little bullshit raps, whatever, and just playing around thinking we could doing something when we're really not. And Ian Janet can contest in this too, man. He was writing with me too. But I met my boy Zips Tayline. He was like a really nice with the pen back then, so he pushed me to write better and harder. And my first rhyme, I remember half of it, and I would never spit it because it's the worst shit you'll ever hear. But I wrote it to this instrument. I wrote it to this beat on this A+ album called Express Yourself. I think it was Express Yourself.
A+ was dope.
Yeah, Parkside Coalition, man.
He was dope.
Yeah,
Fire.
Smith Brothers was some good writers on both of his albums, and I was inspired by that. So I then went back to who I was inspired from the 80s, LL, Kane, then some cats from No Limit, and I started trying to write like all my favorite artists, my favorite female artists at the time, still to this day, Debrat. I was trying to write like her, Snoop. I was trying to write like Dog Pound, my favorite group from the West, and I couldn't rap fast at the time. I knew I could talk fast as hell, but I couldn't rap fast. So I was trying to rap like Bone. That shit sounded like mud. So I started trying to get better and better.
I think we all did that at some point. Right?
Yeah, man. And my mom liked a little bit of rap because of her songs on the radio. She was like vibing to certain songs. I'm like, oh, she likes a little bit of rap too. Like she was vibing out some reggae, a little bit of Mad Lion, Aini Kamosi. She was vibing out the Domino and she likes Snoop. I'm like, oh shit, man, rap isn't too bad. I don't know, but it didn't really hit me until Jaren said, I went to the military. He went to ICB along with you. For my listeners that don't know, it's International College of Broadcasting. That's just outside of Dayton. You can learn music production, engineering, mixing, mastering, performing, writing, and all kind of other stuff in the music and digital field. But when he said he went there, he was going there and he had some studio time for some of his projects. I would come back on leave from the military and we had a couple studio sessions together. First time in the studio, didn't know what I was doing. I sounded like shit compared to how I could sound now in the studio, but I caught the bug like, yo, okay, I want to take this seriously one day. This is real fun. This is real shit. So it just snowballed from there. I didn't stay with DJing, but fast forward many years down the line, I was working on a cruise line and they had the crew bar with me, a few of my other homies. We would DJ down there, and I wasn't really good at vinyl, but they had CD decks. I forgot what they were called, but CD decks in their console. I got real good with mixing and learning the effects and crossfade and DJing for parties and learning how to control the crowd. And I caught the bug, and it just felt like the funnest thing in the world. And I wish I would have stayed with it after I left the ship, but I just couldn't keep up with the technology. I didn't have the money to have my own equipment, so I just decided to pursue my culinary path. But if I would have stayed with it, oh my god, 'cause that shit was so fun, man. But I'm trying to keep them going on too many tangents about myself, because I've done that in my last 29 episodes enough. If anybody wants to hear more about my history, they can read that back. These episodes are about the guests, man. One reason that's why I started this podcast is because I wanted to highlight and showcase people that I know who are creative and have multiple talents, or entrepreneurs who are creative and they have interesting backstories, and see if they can influence other people who may be listening, who want to do what they're doing or do something in their field, and see if they can share stories. If you guys want to share stories about what you're doing now, what you've been doing, that's what my show is about, man. Highlighting y'all, because I've done that enough in my career, all my albums and mixtapes. I want to put other people on and who may be doing something that I'm not doing, or do something better than what I'm doing. This is what my way of giving my gift to the world, is just getting this out to everybody. And we want to go to Cap for a second, man. I had a chance to go back and listen to, I'm not gonna say all your albums, but all the ones that's on DSPs that I found on Apple Music, because I know you got much more music besides just that, just like all of us. I got my last 5 or 6 projects on DSPs, but I got 13 albums and mixtapes and Tuck that's been on Reverb Nation, Dat Piff, you name it. I want to get into Stay Dangerous, Hello World, Mike Rippers, h.rap, all that stuff. Deep Waters, Different Levels, which just came out. It's Not You, It's Me, which is hella dope. Murder Megs, shout out to her, man. She smoked them beats. But Cooley, though, man, I noticed you was on a couple of his songs. I think it was on the Hello World album. Is that right? You did some scratching or did some producing?
Yeah, Dear World, yep.
Yeah, I saw your name in the credits. I'm like, word? Oh shit, I had to run it back and play it again. That's what's up, man. How did y'all link up initially?
You want Cooley? Yeah. So I had a studio with a couple of friends, and one of them is a guy named Kuda Mac.
Okay.
And Kuda Mac brought K-Cap through to record a couple songs that he did, that Kuda Mac did the beat for. So Kuda Mac is an outstanding producer. He's from Chicago, but he lived in Dayton for a time, and we were working together a lot, and he brought K-Cap through, and it was just like, at the time, me and my crew were really the only ones making like that boom bap style in Dayton, Ohio, and as far as I could tell, like when we would go to shows, our music would be unique compared to what everybody else was doing. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
And when K-Cap came through, and that's what we loved about Kuda Mac, because he was producing that same type of stuff. When K-Cap came through, he did a few songs, and one of them that really sticks out in my memory, because I still play it when I DJ from time to time, is it's called Like It's 95.
All right.
And I was like, okay, I need me and this dude this needs to not just be a recording session. You know what I mean? Like, I need this, the way he's talking on this song, like, I know that he is of the same like cloth as me. You know what I mean? Like, he loves this thing the way I love this thing. So, and then ever since then, me and him, we just chopped it up that night, and then we just been, we've been moving together ever since.
Man, that's crazy, man.
It was crazy because I was doing a video. How it all started, I did a song called With My Back Against the Wall, and I was shooting a video for that. Okay. And I got a call from Mr. Lindsay, DJ Prime, and he wanted to do this song called No Publicity Stunt. And within that time, I did the song No Publicity Stuff. That's how Cooley Mac heard that song. Then me and Cooley Mac linked. And just like Mike just said, well, I call him Cooley High.
Yeah.
So once, like Cooley High just said,
that's dope.
You know what I'm saying? Once I went to that studio, man, it was like I connected with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Beavers, man, they were like, I don't know, it was just like they just, like you just said, like you don't really hear that many people that love boom bap music or just like the culture, the pure, and that's one thing I appreciate about Cooley. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can tell he really loves the culture, and I can feel it. And with Dear World, you know, I'm going, you know, fast forward to Dear World, I had stopped doing music for a little while, and I honestly, like, the last album I had did, Peace King, which I believe was one of my worst projects I've ever done. Like I cringe every time I hear it. It's just,
we all got those.
The energy was just off.
Yeah.
The energy just was off. But I wanted to figure out who I wanted to work with. And I'm like, man, I don't know. And I just thought of Cooley.
Yeah.
So Cooley really like EP'd Their World. Like,
okay.
To be honest with you. Like,
that's what's up.
He really was like, yeah, we linked and we talked about the whole album. And it's like one of the most, it's crazy. It's like one of the most pro-blackest, like,
yeah, I can tell,
militant albums ever. You see what I'm saying?
I can tell.
It was so crazy that I was kind of like, dang, kid, you might have went a little too hard on this one. Like, and I tried to lighten the mood a little bit with songs like Don't Love Me Like You Do and West Side.
I want to talk about that too. Yeah, because I remember I definitely felt that throughout the album. It was not saying it was a concept album, because the concept albums are great, but you can definitely feel the cohesiveness in that feel throughout the whole album. And I listened to all the ones that's on the all the ones that was on Apple Music, and I could tell with each album you can see the growth, and you can see like what kind of vibe he's on with each one. And I was funny on that Don't Love Me Like You Do. I read the title before I went to played it. First thing I thought about was like, okay, I saw the movie Low Down Dirty Shame about 50 million times when it was on back in the day. And I was like, okay. Then I heard what she was talking about in the song. I was like, I think he's the one on that subject matter. He's going there, like the girl type record. Like I'm taken, but I know y'all be feeling me still, but I gotta push back on that a little bit. I'm kind of there right now too. But then I was like, then I heard the little clip near the end, but Shane was saying that to, Peaches in the movie. I'm like, That's what I was talking about. I knew that's the part of the movie I was talking about, and he went there. Like, don't love me like you do. Like, that shit was funny. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out there.
Cooley produced that.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. That's his track. He played it. He was like, we was going through some beats.
Yeah.
Cooley produced about 7 to 8 tracks on there, maybe 9.
Okay. See, that's what I love about. That's what I miss about like buying hard copies in the store. I was one of those dudes, just like y'all. I couldn't wait to get the copy, open up, look at the album artwork, read the credits as I'm listening to the album, seeing who wrote, produced, mixed, engineers, record label addresses. I would look through all that. And to this day, not most times you can't really find that on DSPs. You gotta find it and click the little thing that brings the drop down and she gives you all the credits and everything if it's there. And that's one thing I miss.
Some of the DSPs do like a better job of it than others.
True.
Depending on which one you're on, it's like harder to see who did what.
Yeah, because that's what got me into wanting to get deep into music and back in like high school and junior high, because I played the trumpet in elementary school, whatever, but and my mom played a few different instruments, so we talk about music all the time, and she put me onto a lot of jazz and pop and R&B when I was a kid. But like I remember like U92, the radio station at home, that is Z93. They used to have people call in and ask questions about songs I was playing. My mom did that once, and she accidentally won concert tickets to an MC Hammer concert because she was calling in asking a question. She happened to be calling number 8. So that was a funny story about that. So I used to but yeah, getting into that album artwork and stuff, that's what got me into wanting to learn graphic design when I went to CTC. For listeners who don't know, it's Miami Valley Career Technology Center's vocational school out there that I went to for graphic design. And that got me into, okay, doing that, I wanted to learn more about the artwork, how to do that. I got good at Photoshop, and said, okay, if I'm not gonna be a rapper one day, and just before I even knew about that, I wanted to cook and become a chef and all that. Like, okay, man, I can do this. I can work for digital art companies, Pen and Pixel Graphics. They do all these down south crazy graphics. Maybe I can do learn photography, blah blah blah. So it got me big into that. But that whole thing about just the physical copies, I was telling Jaren the other day when I rebuilt my studio in a house that we're building up north. I'm gonna I want to start collecting vinyls of all my favorite artists and albums and decorating my studio with them. Don't even open the vinyl, just have the album artwork up on the walls, because I'm really big into that. And that got me excited when every time I go back home to visit, I'll try to stop by Gem City Records. I can't now because it's no longer there. But Cooley, you want to talk about the record store and your involvement in that? Because that's all. I think that's how Jaron said he met you. Is that true?
Yeah. I think that's how we met.
Okay.
It's still there. It's just not called Gem City now. It's Omega Music.
Sorry, Omega Music. That's what I meant to say all this time. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's still there. They're still going strong. And I was there for like 9 years.
Nice.
So I've met a lot of cool people through working there. In fact, that like I didn't meet K-Cap that way, but he was like a regular customer there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would see him a lot. You know what I mean? He had his albums for sale or his CDs for sale there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was a cool place to. I kind of got like an education in music through there to an extent too, because I always loved a bunch of different types of music, but you know, when you're sitting in a record store working an 8-hour shift, you got to have some music playing. So that's where I got to really start to dive into like, okay, I know that such and such sampled this record. I know Tribe Called Quest sampled something off this record. Let me just play the whole album. You know what I mean? So I got into a lot of jazz, like deeper into a lot of jazz music, because I wasn't just listening for an artist, a hip hop artist I love took. I was like, let me sit and just digest this whole project. You know.
Yep, that's how I got into a lot of old music too.
Like the main benefit I got, especially the producer, because you're basically digging for samples while you're ringing people out at the register. Right. Yeah, that's how I got into learning about a lot of old music bells before my time, was just from samples. I'd be playing something or listening to something in the car, and my mom or whoever I was riding with would be like, oh, I recognize that. Yeah, that's from so-and-so. That's from so-and-so. We was listening to the radio one time, and it was the first time Juicy from Biggie I came on the radio, and she was both bobbing her heads too, and she was loving it. She was like, oh, he took Tume. Oh, I love that song, Juicy Fruit. I'm like, Tume, who's that? She said, okay, hold on. Popped in the cassette of the Tume song, Juicy Fruit. I'm like, oh, this is funky. I wish I was there for that. Still to this day, I wish I was in my 20s and 30s back in the 70s and 80s, because I feel like that was a time to be had, man. So yeah, I love checking out samples, going back and researching old music when I hear a song, or even if I hear a song I didn't know was a sample and somebody else to put me on, like, that was from who? Okay, let me check it out. Then I hear like, damn, that's what's up. Okay, so yeah, I feel you on that. Man, Cap, I wanted to ask you about Mic Rippers. Was that the Truth Music Connection? Now, was that a compilation, or was that like it was a compilation, or was that like you featuring a bunch of different artists? And that Mic Rippers album, was that the first project put out by Truth Music, and is Truth Music just you? Let's get into that, like Truth Music, the whole origins of that, and the Mic Rippers project. Let's get into that, because I feel like that was like early in your career, or at least somewhere back in the day. Okay, so I'll say with Truth Music, it is me. It's basically me, but it's my partner, Charlie Horse, my homeboy Kate, my other homeboy Jamar Bracey.
Yeah.
And we, it started just with me, but I wanted to bring out, like, 'cause my music is based on truth. Everything I do is about being honest. And sometimes when you're being honest, it's not looked at as a popular thing, you know what I'm saying? And again, like I told you before, when it comes to like hip hop, I like that hip hop had a rebellious type vibe to it. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the truth, in my opinion, the truth is rebellious, because a lot of people just go along to get along, right?
Yeah.
So that's how Truth Music Connection came about. The Truth Music Connection part was like us connecting with everybody.
Gotcha.
That's what I wanted to do. Just like the West Side Connection.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted the Truth Music Connection. I'm a basketball coach as well, so even like my AAU team, my nonprofit is called Dayton Truth.
Right.
So yeah, but as far as the Mic Rippers, that came about because as a hip hop head, I've always been a fan of the posse cut. You're talking about the Stephanie, what is it? No cussing, no whatever, don't cuss or something like that. No cuss words.
Right.
You know what I mean? Scenario, what's the scenario? So it came a time where I didn't really hear a lot of posse cuts or Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
We didn't hear a lot of posse cuts no more.
Banned from TV. Yep.
Like, I want to say mid 2000s. It wasn't that many.
True.
I could be wrong. I think Fabulous did a few of them with like.
No, you're right. It wasn't that many around that time.
Yeah. So a buddy of mine was listening to some music one day, and he said, "Yo, man, I just want to hear you rap one day without a hook." I was like, "Word?" And I said, "Forget that." I said, "I'm gonna do a posse cut." Like,
yeah, those are fun though.
Some people, right? So the first mic rippers I got my homeboy A-Ron,
Okay.
Divine, Shice, DeMarco 275, my homeboy Taiwan Dwayne. Yeah, and it was me, and we rapped over the "Take It Personal" beat by Gangstar.
Oh, nice.
It's on sound.
Yes, sir.
And so we rapped on that one, and we just went crazy, and everybody loved it. Like, the energy was like there. So it was almost like a thing that I had to do. Like, my homeboy Tyler, like, you got to do a mic rippers every album you drop. So from that point on, I kept doing like posse cuts. And so what happened with the Mike Rippers album, I know Cooley gonna get a kick out of this. I had just quote unquote retired. This was like 2015, and I did Black Purpose, which Cooley did the mastering for that one.
All right.
And so basically, make a long story short, I was like, well, before I leave the game, I got to do a Mike Rippers album, and man, that was one of the hardest things to put together because you got time, people drag their foot.
Yeah.
But I thought I put it together pretty decent, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wanted to do another volume. Like, it's only a volume 1, but I wanted to do a volume 2, but it's really difficult to put that kind of project together.
Yeah, got the same people together and the same energy again.
Everybody, you know what I'm saying? It's just a lot. So,
yeah, it is.
Posse cuts is not the easiest thing you got to do. That's a lot of splits.
Ooh, yeah. The logistics of it is a nightmare. Like, yeah, it's fun when it's all done, or if you have everybody in the same spot at the same time doing it, or when it's all finished, it's like great. Or if you have lucky enough to have opportunity to get everybody to perform it at once, which is even more harder. But that's also the funner part. But yeah, the behind the scenes part is the harder part. The splits or linking everybody's schedules up, or studio time, or even if everybody's in different locations, it's even 10 times as hard. So it's a lot of moving parts. But when it comes together, it's super dope. I love podcasts. I haven't done many on my albums because I moved around a lot, but I've worked with a ton of artists, whether in person or across the way. It's always collabing is amazing. I love collabing. I was remember at the top of the show in the intro is something I mentioned about when I first heard about you through the Homegrown Hip Hop show, and then I went and saw the West Side video, which blew my mind because I was such a fan. I probably ran it back 3 or 4 times that day, and that beat and just the visuals of it, the way you captured West Side, Dayton, Ohio, and it made me like a little homesick at the time, although I was visiting home every year still I was like, oh, man, I missed that. I see that. And yeah, I filmed a few music videos back home too, but just the way you captured the videos and the visuals in that, it took me somewhere like, this is dope, man. I gotta work with this cat somehow, some way, one day, whether we do an interview or do a song or something. Cause that was just that one song, but then I went and listened to the whole Stay Dangerous. I'm like, oh, he lyrically owns some other shit, different level. Yeah, I gotta fuck with this cat. I like him. So that's why I reached out to you to do the verse on the Trotwood alumni joint from our recent EP, because I always want to work with people who I've feel like I can gel with or vibe with, not only sound decent with, but just I understand and I respect what they do on the mic and their work ethic. That's everybody I've done features with through all my albums, it's because I have that kind of relationship with, or I see them in that kind of light. And then it goes to how we sound, how I think we will sound on the record. Everything else is before that, though. It's all about it's a personal level. It's a respect thing. It's what I see in there lyrically. And then, so people, if you're listening, go check out that. It's called West Side. It's a music video. It's on YouTube everywhere. It's on his PS Stay Dangerous album. But he also has another video out though. Hey, mister, don't forget your trash. Second one, man. What's up? I'm gonna ask you. Were y'all wearing like garbage man uniform, like neon, like brights in that video? Is that what y'all was wearing?
Yeah, it was the whole concept.
Okay. Yeah.
But where we were right there under the 6th Street Bridge, like the like. Unfortunately, it's a lot of like homeless people live there, and so like they was like, "Yo, you want to pick up some trash?" I'm like, "Hey, nah, that's what you're saying." Like, and all of that.
I got a funny story, but go ahead. Go ahead.
So it was a crazy day because I had shot 2 videos, and it was the weird part about trash. Well, it's not weird. It was the crazy part about trash is that the night before I had shot a video for the song called "Who Is This."
Okay.
It hasn't came out yet. I mean, I guess it's still editing or some other stuff we got to do for it. But anyways, so I was getting ready to go to the Bahamas. So we shot that video. Then we early like the next day around like noon, we shot Trash.
All right.
And as soon as we got done doing Trash, that's when I got the call to go to the studio with Faceland Records to do Deep Water's Different Levels.
Oh snap! Okay.
And that's how that whole story. Yeah,
Yo, the reason it made me laugh when you said about the homeless dudes or something. One of the times I visited home, me and Jaren, the Gemini, we shot a music video for. I think we shot 2 videos on that trip. One of them was How We Do, and the other one was the Double Nine. And the Double Nine we shot in Oregon District, and we shot the day before or 2 days before we shot I think it was called How We Do. Yeah, we shot that one. I forgot the name of the building. It was downtown. It was in the parking garage, on the rooftop and in the parking garage. And my wife, she helped us film it. We did it on my iPhone. So as we were walking up the steps, walking up the ramps, looking for a good location, a good level to shoot on, I was like, "Yo, this floor is perfect. This floor is perfect." It's all the look that I wanted and look that he wanted for the video. And as we went to the elevator on one of the areas, there's a couple of homeless dudes in the corner, and we almost stepped in this big ass puddle of piss. Like, we almost stepped straight into it, and dude was like, "Yo, watch the piss." We're like, "What the fuck?" So, and I'm like, "Man, I'm gonna show my wife." I was like, "Man, I'm showing my wife downtown my home city, and she's seeing a puddle of piss. This ain't right." But she understood though. She laughed about it. She understood what it was. She laughed about it, and we shot the video, and the video came out great.
Moving back here.
Yeah. But yeah, all my music videos I shot and edited and produced myself.
You either get kicked out, you shoot in front of a place and like, "Hey, let's shoot a video." Oh, y'all can't be right here.
Yeah, we gotta be. Some places you gotta be sneaky about it, kind of be covert about it. So we went to places that was kind of abandoned, wasn't really nobody around. Nobody was there except for those 2 dudes in the corner. But yeah, I mean, all my music videos I shot, edited, and produced myself. And that one was inspired by DJ Quick and Corrupt's video for 9 Times Out of 10 from their Black album.
Okay.
And Jeremy was like, "Y'all want to do a beat kind of on that vibe?" And I was like, "Okay, let's do a video kind of on that vibe too." So yeah, let's make it kind of gritty, kind of underground, whatever. I'm like, "Cool, I'll edit it. I'll make it. I'll have fun doing this one." So we did that on the rooftop, and it came out fun, came out dope. We had fun shooting that, but and we did double nine in Oregon District because those dope murals that's down there, all those murals. Yeah. We went to shoot in front of that. That was fun. He had a son in the video, J2. Shout out to J2. That was fun. He was dancing around. That was dope. And yeah, man, but when you mentioned that, though, it reminded me of those dudes in that big pile of piss we almost stepped in. Yeah, that PS Stay Dangerous was probably my favorite album of yours, Cap. That I mentioned it to you a few times before. And like every time you drop an album, I always text you like, "Yo, these are my favorite joints on there." It was the Vision Board and Dear God. Them joints hit me. I still listen. Those are on my. I got a bunch of playlists on my phone, and those are on my playlist that I play all the time. I just wanted to just give you your props on those, man. Cooley, though.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Cooley, I know that you're involved in a lot of things in the city and outside the city. You put on events all the time, man. I got a few that stick out that Jaren tells me about a lot, like Boom Bop and Bell Bop, Funky Fridays at the Barrel House, where I met you in person for the first time. You got your... we want to talk about your record label, Church of Funk, and how you got started with homegrown hip hop. I know you're not really involved with that too much now, but I just want to talk about that a little bit too. But yeah, we I think 2 or 3 visits ago, or last visit, when I came home for a family reunion. But I went to. Jaren was telling me you had a couple nights at the Barrel House, and so I wanted to stop in and chop it up with you. And yeah, man, I saw what you was doing, got a little taste of what you was doing on those 1s and 2s, and just want to say, man, your skills it's unsung, man. We need to hear more about you because your shit is dope. I like the things you're playing and the way you're playing them. Yeah, keep doing that, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, what you got? So you made an announcement recently about you starting a record label. You want to talk about that?
Yes. So basically, when I got laid off at the record store, it kind of it took me, a little bit of time, but I was just like, so I have all these, because the job I was doing when I got laid off, and the job I had been doing for like the last 5 years there, was I was in direct contact with a bunch of different labels and distributors, both major ones and like independent ones, and I was the one that was like ordering all the products. So I built a relationship with all these different people that are in that side of the music industry.
Okay.
I've always been more on the creative side, or like, you know what I mean? I've been a DJ, I've been a producer, I've been an MC, but that was kind of my introduction to like the business side of what to do after the record is recorded and mixed and mastered, and then what. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, it would be cool to, I was like, maybe this is, if I start a label, you know what I mean? I got a bunch of music that me and some of my friends have been working on anyway. And there's all, Dayton is just such a talented place, you know what I mean, musically, that, but not a lot of people, and this isn't even just on the hip hop side, but just in general, not a lot of people make it to that, like, where their music is moving like outside of Dayton, Ohio. So
Yeah.
I was like, what if I could take basically everything I've learned about that side of the music industry, and maybe I can use some of those relationships that I've built over the years to help push not only just stuff that I'm involved in, but even, eventually the goal is like projects I didn't even have anything to do with on the creative side. It's just something I thought was great, and I wanted to amplify it. You know what I mean? So I started a label called Hen House Forum. And we just put out like a maxi single, our first maxi single, which is like highlighting a song off of our first 3 albums that are coming out.
Real quick, I hate to, and sorry to interrupt, but the name Hen House, I was curious about that. Where did that come from?
That's a lot of people ask that, and honestly, it's kind of to be honest, it was like me and some of my homegirls were down in my studio. And we were smoking and drinking and just having a good time. We weren't like making any music, but we were just like, I had been talking about starting a label, and I was bouncing that idea off of them, and they were all like, yeah, you should do it. And then they're like, we were joking around about like names. So they were just coming up with like funny names. So like, for those of you who are adults that are listening to the podcast, there's a magazine they called Penthouse, and they had a section called Penthouse Forum, where people would write in, and then like they would like address like letters, like questions that people were asking or whatever. So we were just making up goofy names and shit, and I don't remember which one of them said it, but somebody said Hen House Forum, and then like we all just started laughing, and then that was the one that made everybody laugh the most. For whatever reason, we were just being goofy, and I was like, all right, cool, that's what I'm going to call it. So a ton of thought behind it. It was really just like a bunch of friends just messing around, you know what I mean, making jokes, and then it just stuck. So.
My mind went to somewhere like a playoff of chickens in the hen house or something like that. I don't know, but that's much better description than
that was what made it funny, because to me it was made it funny is because it was all girls down here except me. And so I was like taking suggestions from them.
There you go.
Telling me to name it this, you know what I mean? So it just worked out. It was just some funny stuff that it was so funny that I was like, all right, I got to use it, because I didn't want to have a name that was like, so I love the name, like K-Cap, for example, Truth Music Connection, right? I love that name, but it's a very like a firm statement, you know what I mean? And I didn't want something that was going to be that firm, because I didn't want to have to stick to, like, I make the kind of music that, like me personally, I make the kind of music that you can put out on Truth Music, because I'm very honest in my music.
Right.
I was like thinking of like a long term, you know what I mean? Like I might want to, I don't want to put a name that's so like firm of a statement, because then I have to fit every artist into that.
Yeah, kind of categorize them a little bit. Right.
So that's kind of why I named it something that just doesn't really have any specific meaning at all. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So how'd you so Homegrown Hip Hop is on wyso.org. Now, are you still involved in that show in any way, how'd you first get involved, and are you still involved now?
That's a good question. So WYSO, 3J the DJ from WYSO had reached out to me about me and Jaron about doing a show that highlighted like local talent, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, YSO is like it's public radio, like how PBS is public television.
Yeah.
And I think that in order for you to be a public station, you have to have a certain amount of like local, like you have to, a certain amount of your programming has to focus on your local community.
Okay.
You can't just play music from national and international artists. You have to also highlight what's going on locally,
right,
which I think is a great thing.
It is.
But they were, 3J the DJ is like, he's been around, he predates me and DJ Airsound. So he's not necessarily, you know, I'm in bars DJing and working with rappers all the time, and he's like a little bit older than me, so he's not necessarily tapped into like what's going on currently hip hop wise in the city. So I think that he reached out to us to try to like, here's a way that you guys can get some shine for the stuff you're working on, and you can give some shine to some other people, and it will help meet my requirements as far as my show, like what I have to do as far as local programming. So it was just kind of like a way to benefit everybody.
Okay.
And I said yes, but then so I just habit of saying yes to stuff, and then because I think it's a cool idea, and then like once it comes down to actually doing it, and I realized I'll stretch myself a little too thin, you know what I mean? So that's why I ended up not being as involved in it, because I was just like, man, I'm, you know, between, you know, recording the episodes might only be a half hour long, but there's a lot that goes into that. You got to edit it, you got to do, you got to make sure there's no cuss words and all that stuff.
Right.
And so it's just like, it can take some hours to actually produce a half hour worth of content.
Oh, very true.
So it was just like something where I just didn't have the time to do it. So then DJ Airson, he took over, and the Gemini, he took over, and then I think YSO's kind of restructuring some stuff now, so I think they're about to start another station, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And so I think that I guess neither one of us are doing it currently, but I think that there is a door open for, once they kind of move their stuff around, for us to get back into doing something like that. So
all right,
it's just not happening right now, but hopefully in the future you'll hear him and I, maybe together, maybe separate, on that channel.
Right. Yeah. I think that was a dope concept too, you know, no matter who's running it. I think it's just a good show, a good thing to do. You know, when he first told me about it, I was, every time it aired, I was at work. So I was making sure I was listening to it, tuned in while I was at work. And it was just good to hear something different, to hear what's popping in the hometown back there, because I left Ohio back in, when I joined the military, fresh out of high school, when I was 18 in 99. So ever since then, I was just on my own path, but always trying to stay connected with what's going on at home musically. But I couldn't really stay connected because I didn't really know much about what was going on, other than what Jaron was telling me. And I would, like, when I was living in Hawaii those 15 years, I only visited home a few times. But once I came to Colorado, I would visit home every year. So I would just ask questions, who's doing what, try to keep up a little bit with what's going on, because I didn't want to be out of touch. I didn't care if it was somebody who made it big, who didn't, who just making beats in the bathroom, whatever. I just wanted to keep my finger on the pulse a little bit, because my love and my connection to home has always just still been that strong, and I wanted to still link up with who's doing what. And that's why I was excited to meet you when I did, because Jaron talked highly about you quite a bit up until that moment. And then when I heard Cap's song on the radio and saw the video, then he told me about it, and I was like, okay, I gotta link up, or at least chop it up with him a little bit. So, and I'm gonna continue to do that in the future, because I feel that I can't speak highly enough about you two gentlemen and what you guys have been doing. Cooley, you mentioned earlier on in your days you used to try rap and everything. Now, have you tried to rap since you started DJing and producing? Have you put anything out there as far as like you rapping itself?
Oh yeah. So there's
where can we find that?
The first project that's coming out on the label is called the Funk Guy.
Okay.
So it's like combining the word funk and the word fungi together.
Right.
And we're it's
it's like it's a trio. It's me, MC Picket Fence, and my brother Steve. So
all right.
So I'm rapping on that, and then right after that, I got a solo project coming out that I'm rapping on. I produce everything on both these projects, but I'm also rapping on both these projects.
Bet. Yeah, you guys send me a link. Send me a link or something.
That Mike Rippers album, Volume 1 that you were talking about earlier. I got some bars on there.
Okay.
I made a beat for a song called Handlebars, and
I heard that.
Bars on there too. So.
Definitely. Yeah, man, you guys send me a couple of links of some of the stuff you got recently with your group, man. Maybe we can do something in the near and far future all together, you know, because I'm still working on music. I'm slowly working on a new album right now. I'm expected to try to get a mid next year release, depending on how things go. No, I'm not really rushing it. I used to put out music super fast, but now, you know, new dad life and everything else slows down. So that's how that goes. I'm being patient with it because it's making the content better. I'm not want to give out too many jewels what I got going on this album. You ever feel like, you know, finish recording something, you get so excited about it, you wanted to put it out right away, but you know what's going on what's going on a project, you got to hold on to it. Did that ever happen to you? That happens to me all the time. I'm sitting on songs right now where I'm dying to put it out, but I'm like, nope, put it on the album, let it marinate, let it wait, and then put it out.
Yeah.
Oh man, that happened one time.
Man, it's like,
what song was it?
That happened with me with h.rap and Kevin, because I was working on 2 albums at the same time.
I've done that too.
It was crazy. So like h.rap was like, I didn't know, like he was like, I took some of my favorite songs and put it on h.rap, and then I had the whole song. Mm-hmm. I was like, it annoyed me so bad, because that, like, when I did Kevin was the only album that I was like, okay, I'm done. Like, I ain't want to do nothing else. Like I ain't want no more songs, because I had just got done doing h.rap, so I feel exactly what you're saying with that, because it was like, I was sitting on records, and like, well, I want people to hear this, so I should put it on here. It was like, no, wait.
Yep. Yeah, man, it happens a lot. Like, I did that a couple of times where, like, I just put out just a single just to feed the algorithm, just to let people know that I'm still active a little bit. May not be as active as I used to be, but the pen still touches the paper any chance I get. So, and trying to keep my gym sharp. Like, there's a big gap between Moment of Reflection in 2017 to last year when I put out the EP, just because I went through a lot of different life developments and situations. Nothing bad, just a lot of different things change, so you don't really have time to do that. And then I forgot the name of the EP. It's slips my mind right now. But the Loose Ends EP was just a bunch of loose records that I had that never released, or songs that were videos that weren't on albums, or remixes to older songs that just, okay, let me get this off my hard drive so I can start over brand new fresh with a new album in the future. And that's all it was. That's why it sounds the way it does. It doesn't sound like a complete cohesive album, because it's not. It's just like a collection of greatest, non-greatest hits, collabs, and a couple of new songs on there, like the one me and Cap and Jaren did. That was a brand new song. The one me and Solomon Childs, that was a brand new song. And the Getaway song, which was about me and my wife's honeymoon. That was pretty much it. All the rest of the songs were older stuff. But yeah, this new project is all brand new, fresh, brand new. But before I end up accidentally going off on a tangent about myself again, this episode, man, I just wanted to say again, thank y'all for your time in doing this. When sometime in the future, when I come back to home again, whether I'm working on a new project or not, I would like to maybe schedule a hookup, do another music video, maybe with y'all, maybe with somebody else who's popping. Who knows what the future may bring, but I definitely want to work with y'all in the future again, whether it be podcasts, music, interviews, videos, production, because, you know, all of us involved in all that. We all rap, we all produce. I don't DJ anymore, but, you know, I'm always involved in the scene. I got a lot of homies here, Hawaii, other places that we stay connected.
That's the Ohio in us, you know. We didn't have like a label to go to. We just had to kind of do everything ourselves.
Yeah, learn it ourselves.
If we wanted to rap, we needed a beat, and if we wanted to use a beat that wasn't a commercially released beat already, we probably had to make it ourselves.
Exactly, that's how I started. I couldn't afford to buy beats from everybody, so I had to figure out, learn it myself. I learned it over the years just from reading reading a ton of literature, magazines, meet friends that are producers, picking their ear, watching them in the studio, just being around it all the time. YouTube University, that's how I learned how to mix and master and all that stuff. Couldn't afford studio time all the time, so I saved a little bit of dollars here and there to slowly get my own little equipment. Started off on an iMac, learning GarageBand, then Mixcraft and other stuff, buying little secondhand rinky-dink equipment off of people and putting it together, making it work somehow, and getting better and slowly graduating to what you see today. So yeah, it's all about the entrepreneurship and that drive. That's what Infinite Ambition is all about, man. You're making the best out of what you got, and then your drive and ambition, your inspirations to do more, bigger things, everything you're good at, everything you love and have a passion for, do it, because something's going to stick eventually. And connecting with those who have that same mindset, other people who are talented, just driven in life or whatever it is, not just music, but just creatives, man, just getting it out there and not being crabs in the barrel, but bringing that chain and bringing everybody up together, man. That's what this Infinite Ambition is all about. And I would like to have this episode come to a closing with you guys shouting out anybody you want to shout out, dropping your socials, promoting anything you got coming up, any projects you got coming out, or anything you want to get out there to the people. Let them know now, man. It's your platform. Let's go.
Go ahead, Cooley.
So you can check me out on CooleyTheCurator.com. That's kind of the best place to see everything going on. So I got I call it the Funk Finder on there, which is like where you can find me DJing at over the next like month or so. Usually I post like about a month and a half in advance.
Okay.
And then I also got my merches for sale on there too. It all ships out from me directly. So I got like my little halfway bootleg warehouse over here that I got all my different shirts and stuff in, and so you can cop merch there. You can hear music there that I've been working on. You can learn more about the Henhouse Forum label and what we got coming out on there. So, of course, if you type Cooley the Curator into Google, you'll see all my other social media platforms, and those are great too. But if you want to kind of get everything in one central location, just go to CooleyTheCurator.com.
Right. I'll make sure y'all put the curator too, because there are other different Mike Cooley's out there that aren't him. That are like different things. So make sure you put Mike Cooley the Curator, so it goes to his stuff, to him. Make sure you don't be mistaken. For those of you who may not know him yet or know what he looks like or anything, or if you're just listening to this for the first time, type that in, man. And Mr. K Cat, man, what else y'all want to get out there and let the people know?
Well, shoot, for me, man, all my socials is KCaptadon. That's K-CAPTADON. That's on Facebook. That's on Instagram. I got, some dope projects out right now. I got It's Not You, It's Me. Produced by Murder Megs, entirely by Murder Megs out of Harlem. Representing 6 Man. Shout out to them, Bad Seed. And I got a new project with Faceland Records called Deep Waters, Different Levels.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the newest project just dropped August 30th. Check that out. I don't have nothing else coming up, man. I got the new video for I'm in the City.
Yeah.
Shot by Peso. That'll be dropping pretty soon. Probably do some more. I'm trying to do like a mini movie for the song called Broken Glass.
All right.
And then I'll probably be working on another album. It won't drop probably until like 2025, maybe spring or summer.
Okay.
But I'm sitting on some stuff right now that's kind of crazy. That's fire. But right now I'm just kind of like trying to enjoy it, because I done dropped like 6 albums in like 2 years.
Woo! Wow. That's some work.
Yeah. I'm a little wrapped out right now. I'm a little tired.
Yeah, you gotta take the time to refresh your brain a little bit.
Yeah. So other than that, man, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to Cooley, man. Shout out to Dream One, Ty Me. Shout out to Faceland Records, man. The whole family over there.
That's what it is, love.
People, Truth Music Connection.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And that's it, man.
Oh, yeah. Now, one thing I want to... Well, 2 things real quick. I forgot. I wanted to correct myself earlier. I was talking about the music video me and Jim and I did in Dayton in the parking garage. It's Who We Be, not How We Do. It's Who We Be is the name of the song if you're looking for it. We did a few other music videos. I don't have to get into that. It's all on YouTube. I promoted that a million times already. But Kat, I want to ask you though. I almost forgot to ask you. There's 2 names that I see that's consistent as far as features on the last few albums. Like, how'd you link up with Murder Megs? I know she produced that whole "It's Not You, It's Me" album, and there's a voice that sticks out on, that's like a standout performance on quite a few features on your albums, Lauren Nicole. And how did you link up with them, and how was those studio sessions?
Oh man, well, okay, with Murder Megs, it's kind of funny because, again, Bad Seed, that started with the Bad Seed. So the Bad Seed, I believe, I know he's from Brooklyn.
Okay.
But I do know he went to Trotwood. I believe he went to Trotwood. If I'm wrong, my bad. But my homeboy Guns, that's his people. So, we linked through that. And then, so I reached out to him on the Kevin album. And I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Well, actually, he reached out to me. Like, he reached out to me and was like, yo, man, I like your stuff. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you ever want to work, let me know. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, man. I'm like, you like an underground legend to me. So definitely, let's do something. So anyways, I was listening to his album, and he had this song, I want to say it was Skinny Biggie, but it was something. But like Four Fingers Ring, the first one, to do one is crazy too. But I heard the first Four Finger Rings, my bad. But he said Murder Megs on the beat. And I'm like, this beat was crazy. He gave me that little ugly, crunchy face.
Like, yeah, gas face.
So, but when he said Murder Megs, I'm like, Megs? What? So I immediately just started typing in Murder Megs. So I just started like social media harassing her a little bit, like if I could. And she's
dope.
Like the nicest person in this world.
That's a dope name too. Her album has a triple entendre too. I can explain that in different ways. Megs, like Megan or Megs, Megabytes or Megs, Mega. Like,
right.
I can go 4 different ways with that. But go ahead. I like it.
She was the nicest person ever. So she reached out to her, and I told her I wanted to do a song with Bad Seed, and she ended up letting me rock on 2 joints.
Okay.
And I was like, bet. So, that's how I got 2 joints with her on the Kevin album. And then how the album came about with It's Not You, It's Me. I think Bad Seed had mentioned who you want me to work with, and I said, you need to work with Murder Megs, and it's another female producer named JP, the producer.
Okay.
They like killing the game right now. Like, I mean, follow her on Instagram, JP, the producer. She's crazy. I don't know what she's doing.
I was just watching a video where she flipped something that I think 14K did or whatever. I was just watching it like this morning. She's nasty.
Fire. So I'm like, bro, you got to do an album with them too. So for some strange reason, I don't know why, but I reached out. Me and Murder Megs been talking or whatever, so I reached out. I said, hey, and I know she got like obligations with her crew, and that's why I didn't really want to reach out to her like that. But let me just dribble and shoot, life is just dribble and shoot. It could go in. So I said, hey, how you feel about us working together? That's kind of how I hit up Mike Cooley a long time ago. Hey, how you feel about us doing an album together?
Uh-huh.
And lo and behold, she was like, that'll work. And I'm like, what?
Bad.
And the crazy thing, like, she wanted me to like rap on like 15, 16. I'm like, no. I just want to do 10. I just do 10. But she had so many beats, man, when I tell you, and it was like, and like, the people don't even realize, like, the album, honestly, it's so many beats that I left, that I didn't rap on. Oh my! And I'm like, sometimes I'll be listening, like, ooh, I should have did something to that one. I should have did something with that one.
Yeah.
Like, crazy, bro.
I feel you.
With Lauren Nicole, me and Lauren, we've been cool. Man, I want to say like 15 years. I don't remember how I met her. I think I met her through like my homeboy Beard. She was like a teenager at the time, and but she even came through the studio. Cooley, I don't know if you remember, she did I
remember that.
Yeah, was it Fast? What was it? I Dream of a Million, Fast Clothes, Fast.
Yeah,
she sung that.
Yep. So Nights Over Egypt sample. Yeah.
Yep. So we just been working together. She's like, every time I call her, we won't talk for like years, 5, 6 years, and it was crazy because I was struggling when I did PS Stay Dangerous. Like, I really wanted a female vocalist. I was going to do the song that Cooley produced. I wanted to put that on PS Stay Dangerous, a song called One Yes.
All I need is one yes.
Remake to a song.
One yes. Yeah.
Yes. Cooley did that track. That's Cooley track.
Word? Okay.
So, yeah.
That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite beats I ever did, for real. I love that.
That's hard. That's hard.
So, and then also, I just gotta say this too. West Side is on Dear World too.
Yeah.
That's just gotta get that up. But yeah, so anyways, like she's one of those people that whenever I reach out to her, she just comes to the studio.
Okay.
Like no questions asked. So I lost touch with her for a couple of years, didn't have her number. So I saw her on E-Man Jones' album, and I was like, yeah, that's Lauren. I hit him up like, oh bro, give me Lauren's number. As soon as I hit her up, so we just been working. We just started working.
Yeah.
So she was just all on the album, and I just had so much, stuff going. I would have had her on Deepwater Different Levels, but we did that album in like a day. So
right. Yeah, that's some crazy work ethic right there, man. That's a Tupac level work ethic. Like next track. Man, shout out to.
That ain't even the first time he's done that either.
I believe it.
He's done a couple albums that way.
I believe it, man. Yo, shout out to Murder Megs, man, Dre Meezy, Lauren Nicole, man, DJ Prime, and all y'all, man. Mike Cooley, my hat goes off to y'all. I want to continue to, I got like a whole nother page worth of conversation, worth of topics to go over. We can have this on a part 2 or another episode or something down the line, you know what I'm saying? But just to keep it within the parameters of the time we was talking about before, man, we're going to cap it off right here. I just want to say thank you, brothers, again for this opportunity doing this episode, and we're gonna link up again, man, whether it be over the phone, over the mic, or in person. We're gonna do that. I want to thank y'all for listening, man, for sure, man. I want to thank y'all for listening out there, man. It's the Infinite Ambition podcast. Recognize your limitless worth. You can find me on all my socials, man. You find me at Chef Khari on all my socials, Khari Martino, everywhere. I'm everywhere, man. Music, podcasts, it's all on all the DSPs, man. Apple, Spotify, Tidal, you name it, it's there. You can find me, my music videos. You can find these gentlemen everywhere you look. They're there. So be sure to check us out and stay tuned for upcoming projects. It's the Infinite Ambition podcast. Recognize your limitless worth. Damn it, we out. Peace.
Peace.
Infinite Ambition.